Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Bible Project Daily podcast. And we're in a different part of the house again today because we really are in the depths of winter. It's almost around the shortest day of the year when we're recording this. The sun isn't rising till after 8:30. We're only getting about 7 hours of daylight. So trying to find somewhere where there's a bit of natural light isn't that easy. But anyway, I think we're okay here today, and maybe it won't be quite as echoey as it's been the last couple of weeks where I've been recording in the empty space at the back of the house. Anyway, welcome back again. We're in part 111 of season 2 in our journey through the book of Genesis, which is part of this huge, ambitious plan to try and work chapter by chapter, verse by verse through the whole Bible. Lord willing, I'm sure it'll take quite a number of years, but what an amazing journey to be on, and I'm so glad you've decided to join with me on it. You can, of course, go all the way back to episode 1 if you want. Season 1 is 66 short episodes that give an overview of each and every one of the books of our Bible, and then season 2 launched 111 episodes where we actually moved into the text beginning in Genesis chapter 1, verse 1. So the links to all of that stuff is there, as well as even episode notes where you can find transcripts of all the podcasts and everything I've said. So anyway, we're closing this section on acknowledging the goodness of God in the life of Abraham in Genesis chapter 14. And we're in the closing part of this section. And I began this section covering Genesis 14 by asking if God had ever blessed you, and if so, how should we respond to the blessings of God? How do we acknowledge the blessings of God in our lives? Well, it's the conclusion of this passage, looking at chapter 14, and I want to summarize by giving us 3 suggestions of how we might do that. Number 1 is I believe we should always remember to give thanks. But what I mean by that is in all situations, count the blessings of God, number the blessings as it has been said. In other words, take note of them and give thanks for them each and every time they occur. Do that always, friends. Secondly, be like Abraham and honor the Lord in front of other people. When God does something good in your life, credit the Lord for it and credit it in front of other people. As Abraham's spiritual maturity grew, he made no bones about the fact that it was God who had blessed him, and he did that in front of other people. He bore witness to the blessings of God, and we should do that always. Included in the way he responded to God's blessing is the fact that he let other people know what God had done in his life, and he did that all the time. And that's the kind of thing that Abraham did, and that's the kind of thing that we need to do also. So firstly, we are to give thanks, but secondly, we are to acknowledge that those blessings came from the Lord himself. The third thing that we saw he did in the last couple of episodes was that he tithed. He gave of his resources. He gave of his personal resources and his financial resources. Now that's an invitation to preach on giving, isn't it, right? But I'm going to say no more than that. Than this is the fact that the Lord loves a cheerful giver, and that we are called upon in the Bible to give generously, proportionally, and cheerfully. But also underpinning all of that is the vitally important thing that we must give with the right attitude. You see, friends, the bottom line here in the Old Testament clearly, and also in the New Testament, is that God is more interested in what is in your heart and the way in which you give than the amount that is in your hand. But the overarching principles are that we should give generously, proportionally, and cheerfully. If you're giving a full 10% of all your income and you're doing that begrudgingly, then that will not please the Lord. And he says so, it says so specifically in 2 Corinthians. So don't give grudgingly, friends, but what you give willingly. And sometimes when we give, we have to acknowledge the fact that what we give is primarily to be spent on others. Some people, they give generously to church, but they only do that when they see it spent in the way they expect it to be spent, or they only give generously if they see that it is being used to maintain or support the thing that they enjoy doing at church or are involved in at church. But that's not the way to give at all, friends. Remember, always the church is the only organization in the world that exists for the benefit of other people. The church exists for the benefit of those who are not part of it yet, who have not come into that family yet. And we should remember our giving is not just to support the things that we really enjoy doing at church. Always remember the Lord wants you to give generously, proportionally, happily, some might say even sacrificially, in order that he can do a new thing amongst his people. We leave it there for this time, and then we'll pick up next time in Genesis chapter 15 in this life of Abraham, and we'll consider in the next few podcasts the idea of the reliability of God as illustrated in these stories of Abraham. But that's it for today, so bye for now, and I hope to see you again very soon.